Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Asif Chowdhury here. I just wanted to make a quick video just for the married folks out there. How many of us remember when we first got married? Our emotions, our thoughts, how we felt, the joy, the ecstasy, how we felt when we got married. And, we were living through this bubble, this situation where every moment we wanted to spend with our spouse or just to proclaim that love to our spouse. you know we would those were kind of like the most beautiful words that we could either utter or hear. But why is it that as the years have passed, it becomes that much harder to proclaim that love to your spouse? Why does it become harder to say I love you to your spouse after marriage? Is it that as the years pass you fall slowly out of love with your spouse? Or is it that because you're now married and everything's kind of settled, you just feel the need that there's no need to say it? Or as some clients say, that my spouse already knows I love them, so what's the need to keep repeating that? Just maybe in the comments below, just let me know what your reasons are if you're suffering from this issue as well, because it seems to be a very common problem with a lot of people. Yes, I mean, it is true that certain people have a communication issue in general. So obviously, those people, they find it hard, and it's not natural for them to proclaim that love to their spouse. But there is in order to be able to make and have that marriage flourish and prosper, there is a very real need to hear such words. Because what does I love you actually mean here? Because one thing we need to really remember is that, you know, when we say I love you, or when we proclaim our love to our spouse, what we're actually saying to them is we're reinforcing our commitment to our spouse. And every day, or every month, or every year that goes by where we don't say those words, then it could lead to, you know, couples feeling that that love is lost. Perhaps that intimacy, that affection is also lost as well. So I want to just leave you with just a couple of pointers here. The next time, if you're not in the habit of saying "I love you" to your spouse, if you're not in the habit of it, or you feel shy, or whatever the case may be, the next time, make it a habit. Maybe for the next 7 days. The next time you go to bed, if it's not a habit for you to say "I love you," then say "I love you" to your spouse that night and in the morning as well. And when you see that, just jot down some of the differences that you see in each other's behavior towards each other. Um, and just note that down and see the kind of positive differences that you experience. Because I think one thing we all need to do is we can't allow that love's flame to burn low. Because remember, um, men fall in love with their eyes, right? Men fall in love with their eyes. Women fall in love with their ears. They need to hear you expressing that love. They need to hear that commitment. Men also need that as well. It needs to be reciprocated both ways. Ask yourself this. If a 3-year-old, if you've got a child, if a 3-year-old wakes you up in the middle of the night and asks and says he or she needs water, he's thirsty, the parent's not going to reply back saying, "Well, I'm not thirsty, so go to bed." No, that's not what happens. What happens is, you might want to say that. You might be in deep sleep and you might want to say that, but you don't. You get up and you give them that water because you love them, because that child is thirsty. So just because you don't need something doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to meet someone else's needs as well. So when your husband or your wife says to you, I love you, one thing we really need to understand is that oftentimes they're seeking assurances from us as well. So when we say I love you to our spouse, or they say it to us, they're seeking that assurance from us that when we say I love you back, that we're still committed, we still have that love, that affection is still there with them. So I want to leave you with, so with that first task that I mentioned, every night and every morning, try that. Um, so just just try that maybe for 7 days. Jot down the positive and the obvious effects that you see. Perhaps you'll see less arguments in your marriage, or just more friendlier talk, whatever the case may be. Give it a go. I'm sure you will see huge, huge, huge change. And it's unfortunate because um, from the clients that I speak to, a lot of the complainants, a lot of the people who end up complaining that their spouse doesn't proclaim enough love to them, often seems to be people who are perceived as religious. Perhaps they feel that proclaiming love is beneath them. I'm not sure what the case may be, but again, let me know what your thoughts are there. But look, give that a go every morning and every evening. Try that with your spouse, and just jot down what kind of positive impact that has on your marriage. And I will see you on the next video, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.